Yeah.
My special guest today he's no surprise to the entrepreneur community. His name is Dixon III. We know him as JD, and he's here to talk about and how he started those humble beginnings and how you can tap in and be successful just as he is.
Facts.
Welcome to Tap In Tuesdays.
Facts. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kametra. Listen, first of all, most of the world knows me as the chairman. It's a capital T and a capital C on that chairman.
Okay. Chairman, that's M-A-N. Not M-E-N.
No. But no, listen, I really appreciate the opportunity to come on here and share my experience with everybody. I'm having an amazing day.
All right. Good. You look good.
God is really good.
Amen.
And I appreciate you for the invitation.
Thank you. I appreciate you accepting the invitation.
Of course.
You smell like success.
Yeah, listen, look good and feel good. That's the way I go with it.
Okay. I want to, right, Bobby?
Said you look good, you feel good.
Right. Shout out to everybody who's on the show tonight. Coming, Bobby and Patrick and Chris, and you all know D-Lo. He was my guest 2 weeks ago on the show.
Say something real quick about
Go ahead, help yourself. Welcome.
Jewel about D-Lo. Look, I was looking at D-Lo's story earlier today.
Okay.
And I saw D'Angelo. Y'all remember that video? You remember that video? How does my boy was
you are crazy.
My boy was
he was right. He had them shades on. I'm gonna go back and watch it. You know what? Wait a minute. And if you want to see it, you can go to YouTube, Tap In Tuesdays with Kametra. Go view it. It is hilarious. I cannot believe you brought that up.
Listen, I said, my boy, this motherfucker looking like a million zillion
trapping. Fresh cut Tuesday.
Oh shit!
Fresh cut Tuesday.
It was amazing. I said,
that is funny. Thank you.
Shit, that's my partner.
Right.
Yeah.
You were definitely in the building.
Okay.
All right, well, we're gonna get it. Yeah, we're gonna move. We're gonna talk to this successful man. Many businesses. He didn't only start with one. He has several businesses, but I want to start with his humble beginnings, how he began his journey. We want to talk that walk with you because I know it wasn't easy. You didn't just walk into success. Success is a journey.
Absolutely.
So we want to ask you. Well, I want to ask you. And I got a lot of DMs. I'm just going to put that out there. I got a lot of messages. How did he start? Where you know him from? Yeah. So I'm going to let him tell you his story. I don't want to tell it for him. So tell the IG family, YouTube family, how did you start? I mean, a successful black man. I want to know.
So here's the thing. I was born in Shreveport, Louisiana, Cedar Grove.
Oh, shout out to Louisiana.
Shout out to the 1-9 We in the building. No, but so I was born in Shreveport, Louisiana. Obviously, extremely humble beginnings. My family didn't have a lot of prosperity, didn't have a lot of things going at the time, but everybody in my family was mostly like in the entrepreneur, like the realm,
right?
And so, a lot of my success came through based on just what I was able to kind of like conjure up on my own.
Okay.
And so like I didn't have a mentor, I didn't have a lot of people supporting me at the time. And so it was one of those things where you work in corporate America.
Yeah.
I've
been shout out to corporate America. It does pay the bills.
so currently like corporate America was what I had going.
Okay.
And I had a very similar lifestyle to a lot of young black men.
Okay.
Kind of grew up in a society in which there wasn't a lot of options.
Right.
And so options were limited, but I didn't allow myself to become a product of the environment.
Come on now.
And so it was more so like, hey, listen, like you're faced with a couple things in life, like trials, tribulations, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, you got to go get it.
Right.
You know, like if you want to make excuses, you're gonna have an excuse life. If you want to have a prosperous life, you can do that as well. So it was a journey,
Okay.
you know. But my story, because a lot of people feel like I just like hit the lottery.
Right. That's
You know
why I
what I'm
asked you.
saying?
Yeah.
Like it's like,
Yeah, real talk.
oh, he rolled out of bed, he hit the lottery type. It's like, nah, that's not what happened. And so my story started back in nursing school. So I'm a nurse. Been a nurse for about 12 years.
Okay.
Even to this day, I keep my nursing license active.
All right.
Shout out to black nurses.
Right. Shout out to nurses, right? Especially in a pandemic.
And so going through that experience, it was more of a because there's not a lot of male nurses.
Right.
And so like when you become like a male nurse, like people be like, "Oh, you a nurse?" Like, no, for sure. But it was just one of those things to where I was just like, you know what? Like I love helping people. You know, I love assisting others. So I actually started off as a CNA. So I was a nurse assistant.
Educated man, nursing assistant.
So I graduated high school with a CNA. I was 17 years old, was working in a nursing home.
Okay.
And decided that I wanted to be in the healthcare.
Okay.
And healthcare ain't easy.
Right.
Let's just be clear.
Right.
But when you get in there, you know, you kind of adopt people as family, right? And so everything about what we had going on in the healthcare field, it's just about family. Like you go in, you go hard for people every single day.
Right.
But, you know, my mindset was, this is my passion.
Okay.
And we'll get into that a little bit later.
Okay. We just walking with you on this journey.
Yeah, it's cool. And so CNA decided that I was going to go to nursing school. I went to TSU.
Shout out to TSU.
Texas Southern University in H-Town.
Yeah, that's my, all right. That's me too.
Hold on.
Okay.
That's HBC.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I had to go. Well, here's the strange thing.
Right.
No, listen. The strange thing about college is because I didn't decide to go to college until my second semester of my senior year. Because there's not a lot of people that's like out there talking to black people about going to college.
True.
You know, just being straight up, right? And so with that being the case, it was just like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go to college. And I went pre-pharmacy. So I didn't go nursing. So I was going to TSU. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go pre-pharmacy,
right,
etc. Right? Because I was thinking about the dollar signs.
Right.
What's it about? Shit.
Right.
If
we
I
think
go
about
6 years,
right.
I'm gonna go 6 years, graduate, I'm in 6 figures, right?
Right.
So I go to TSU. I become, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I'm trying to be humble.
Well, be humble then. Let's keep it 100. We gonna keep it real on Tap In Tuesday. You can say whatever you want to say.
Now listen, I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
I was pretty lit.
Okay, that's okay.
I was
college life,
I was
right?
the president of the house council. I was
come on now,
homecoming king as a freshman. I
just
really go into a lot of it, but listen, what I want to tell y'all is that I had a great time,
right?
But became the only RA as a sophomore.
RA, that's a residential assistant.
Yeah,
you know, for those who don't know, he was the RA.
He was laying that law.
What's laying that law?
Well, listen. I just want to say that.
Please explain to us that don't know.
But listen, here it is again. Humble again.
Right.
So I go to TSU, great freshman year, right?
Right.
And all these great things are happening, right? So I come back, I'm a sophomore as an RA, and guess what?
What happened? Guess what?
I entered my sophomore year with a 3.8.
Okay.
By the end of the first semester of sophomore year, I had a 2.3.
Ooh.
No.
Know the story. Don't worry.
Nah, I didn't lose. I didn't lose them.
So what you trying to say is, did you come back the second semester?
Hold on, what they say in Shreveport? I'm feeling myself. No,
this is good though. This is good though.
I was feeling myself.
You okay?
Bit,
and
right?
what had happened was?
Well, I just Stop going to class.
Stop going to class. Well, at least you're being honest,
No,
okay?
I'm just being straight up. I
Right.
stopped going to class.
It doesn't matter though. Look at you now.
At this point, it was more so like I was being paid to go to college. You know what I'm saying? So I was an RA.
Right.
All my classes were covered. You know, it was like shit. Like, do you, boo boo?
Okay, so let's fast forward. Okay, so what happened after that?
All right, so I leave TSU.
Okay.
Shout out to TSU, man.
Shout out to TSU. I went to TSU as well. HBCU. He do.
No,
Right.
The Tiger
Shout out-
Walk.
right.
The Tiger Walk.
Okay, well, I'm gonna put it this way.
No, I
okay,
know what
so
happened.
you became
so I left TSU,
Okay.
came back to Dallas.
came back to Dallas.
End up in a position to where it's like, all right, well, what you gonna do? So I'm like, hey, fuck it, I'm gonna go to nursing school.
Okay.
Okay. So go to nursing school. But I went to LVN school, so not an RN. So I go to LVN school. It's a 1-year degree. Had some hardships in nursing school, but
Of
came
course.
out of those
Right.
and graduated. And then I'm in a profession at 21 as a nurse. Only worked the floor as a nurse for probably a month.
Wow.
And I went into revenue cycle management. From there, I went into business development and consulting. And that's when you kind of start learning a little bit more about healthcare.
Okay.
Like, just, what's going on, industry, different stuff like that. Right? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
So,
really.
so I'm
You kept
in the
growing.
space. I'm in the space. I got a lot of stuff going on. And just along the way, and I gotta shout out to Black women real quick.
Shout out to Black
No,
women.
I gotta do it because along the way, it was a lot of inspirational Black women that kind of pushed me over the top.
All right.
Like they were in leadership positions
Okay.
and they saw something in me and they said, you know what, we're gonna elevate you, we're gonna put you over the next level.
Right.
Like it was a lot. And so
Shout out to Black women.
for sure.
We're strong.
Well, hold on, let me name them real quick.
Okay.
It's a very good list.
I hope I'm on the list.
Frida Kegler,
Okay.
Felicia Evans,
Felicia Evans.
all these women, they were just
All
there for
these
me
women
for a
that was
very
there
long
for you.
time. But anyway,
All right.
all right, so we're gonna fast forward.
So we fast forward.
So we jump into the time to where like I'm at the top of my industry.
You're at the top.
Like so
Healthcare field.
I was a clinical liaison. And so marketing and healthcare is a very competitive field. So you got to be ready. Like everything that you're trying to do, because there's so many companies out here.
Right.
You got so many hospitals, you got nursing homes, you got a lot of stuff going on.
Okay.
So you got to be at the top of the food chain. And so my mindset was like, hey, listen, I'm all about making sure that I'm number one. Gotta be number one. I'm sorry. Like I don't like to
So you're
lose.
competitive.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But what I will say is my competitive nature is
No sidebar comments.
well, it's
Right.
it's a little bit
If you
different
only knew.
because
About competing with itself.
exactly
Okay.
because
Oh,
I
okay,
just want to
okay.
I want to be my best self at all times, right?
Okay. Okay.
And so I decided, hey, you know what? I'm gonna try something different. Because I was fired a few times. I don't know if y'all have ever been fired before.
We have. Yeah. Yeah. I have.
I
Y'all
have.
never been fired.
Well, these two in the back for sure.
Okay.
I done fired them at least 2-3 times apiece.
Have y'all ever heard slow singing?
Flower bringing. Well, but listen, I got fired. No, listen. So I got fired a couple times, right?
Right.
And so I just started realizing that being in the corporate setting
Crazy.
wasn't for me, right? Like
Okay.
I was just like, you know what? This corporate setting ain't for me.
Okay.
I'm gonna do something a little bit different. And so I took a job in which I was a consultant for a company, and
Okay.
they gave me an opportunity to come in and help them build and grow some new companies, right?
Okay.
And so at this time, I didn't have any money. I didn't have like anything going for myself. But I said to myself, I said, you know what? It's time. Like, stop.
Was that your aha moment?
No,
Like-
I'm gonna tell you my aha moment.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Okay.
And so, so I go in, I start working with this company, and I said, all right, cool. But why am I doing all this work
Right.
and they making all the money? Like,
why am I doing all this
the only
work?
thing that they bring into the table
And
is
they're making the money.
Kametra.
Okay.
Let's protect.
Let's protect.
Let's protect what we have to do tomorrow. Not for today.
Remember where we are.
Maria said, "Shout out to getting fired."
So do I.
Maria, get up out of there.
Get out of there.
Get out of there, Maria.
No, but listen. So my situation is way different from yours
Right.
because they didn't fuck with me like I fuck with you. But anyway,
Right.
But what I will say is, I just decided that, hey, you know what? Like, what I have to bring to the table is a little bit more valuable than what I'm being compensated for.
Absolutely. Right.
And so I just decided to take upon myself to go out and start my own business. And so I was working.
Okay. Wait a minute, because I know people want to know, because you got a lot of people that want to start their own business. Yeah. Back it up, JD. Okay. So at that moment, you go, I want to start my own business. Mm-hmm. It's not that easy, though.
No.
So when you said, I want to start my own business, what was that business? What were you thinking about, though, starting?
Well, a laboratory.
A laboratory.
Yeah. So
now, how many? Go ahead. How many black men? I gotta say this.
A laboratory, though.
How many black men do you know?
1%
I had to say 1%. How many black men? And I got shout out to you for that. I have to say this because that is one thing that did impress me when I met you. I said,
okay. Hello, world.
He owns a laboratory. Right. Nothing against no other businesses. But how many black men, successful, let me put that on there, because you can be a black man and you can own a business, but I'm saying successful black men, own a laboratory. Yeah. That is number one. That was the number one thing that I said. I was like, brother owns a lab. I have to, I'm for real. That's a shout out to you.
No, listen. And entering an industry where you're a super minority is a little bit different, right?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
And so it's a new space, but I always got to shout out to God.
Absolutely. Shout out to God.
He gave me the inspiration.
Amen. Praise.
I have a question, JD. I didn't mean to cut you off, but how is navigating that industry as the 1%? Like how?
Well, I can tell you right now, it's very difficult.
Good question, nephew.
It was one of those situations in which, a lot of people looked at a young black. I was only 26, 27 at the time. So it's like, it was weird. But
26?
a lot of people look at a young black man. It's like, oh, he don't know shit.
Right. Yeah. Can't trust them.
Well, I don't know if I want to meet with you.
Right.
Or whatever. I mean, what do you have to say? Like they trying to rush me.
Right.
And so it was one of those things where you just have to stay true to yourself. Like, have integrity. Don't let anybody in business or in life disrespect you.
Hey, all right.
Because a lot of people feel like they hold the key to your future, and that's not true.
Okay. Let me ask you this question real quick. Were you ever walking in, like when you said, okay, I'm gonna start my own business, and it was the lab?
Yeah.
So at that moment and at that time, you're like, okay, I'm gonna start my own business. Because being a black man and walking into those rooms and walking into those businesses, I'm just gonna keep it real. We're gonna keep it real on tapping into.
Well, tap into.
We're gonna tap in because I want to keep it real, because we're gonna tap into the fact that it's not easy. So I want it, after we get through that part, then we'll go to the next one. Okay. So I want to tap into walking in. Were you ever, have these big businessmen who they've been there, done that. Oh yeah, walking into meetings or trying to sell your business at this point, Were you ever or trying to show them that I am capable of running a business? I know that had to come across, you had to do that in some kind of fashion form or some kind of way. You had to go in and try to sell it. Did you ever feel like,
here's the thing.
Were you ever intimidated? I'm just,
ever.
Never?
Ever.
Okay.
Wow. JD is not.
Some people do. I'm just asking. Yeah.
No, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, because he's new to the game and they've been there. Right.
I've seen JD navigate a room of the most uncomfortable.
I get that, but remember he's coming. He's coming out of corporate, right? But remember, he's coming out of corporate America. He's starting up a new business. It can be scary. Let's keep it real. We're human. So I'm just wondering, in front of all these people, when you have to go in here and sell yourself, were you ever just a little bit like, damn?
Nah, because I never feel like that I'm selling myself. Honestly,
okay.
I'm never feeling like I'm selling myself. I'm always feeling like,
okay,
I'm here to do business.
Okay.
And if people want to do business with me,
okay,
it's gonna be good.
Right.
Because it's about business. Like I don't have to impress anybody to like try to do business with them. Like if I'm gonna present a product. Pat. That way.
Say that one more time, then, Pat. Okay.
But no, listen, like it's one of those deals, man, to where I don't want to be a part of no situation in which somebody feels like I need them or I'm doing something to impress them or whatever it is. Like I don't like stuff like that. And so when I was there, it was more so like, hey, I got a business opportunity for you.
Right.
If you want to do business, let's do business. If you don't, I'm finna roll out. Okay. It's very simple. Like you just got to understand like your value and understand that these same people who trying to like belittle you,
right?
They not there,
right?
Because anybody who's there is going to be inspirational,
okay,
right? And so my mindset has always just been, hey, listen, like I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna do business with somebody. If they want to do business, we're gonna do business. I know what I got to offer is gonna be good, and if they with it, they with it. If they not, shit, I'm gonna roll out. At the end of the day, ain't no love lost.
Right, right.
Shit, that's just business, right?
Right.
And so that's just the way I always roll.
Okay.
Roll.
So at this point, now you got your business. You got the lab.
Got my business.
You got your business.
Period.
Plus. And so now I got the business. So here come all the money. Here come the dollars rolling in. Let's keep it 100. Well, the dollars rolling in. A couple dollars. Yeah, a few.
A block.
So I got to ask you this because you had those humble beginnings. Mm-hmm. So when the dollars started rolling in, were you like, damn, I made it? What was that feeling like? I want to know. What was that feeling like?
Here's the strangest thing.
Okay.
At the time when it was happening, I didn't even recognize it. And I'm just being straight up. Like it was something I was kind of oblivious to. Like it was nothing that I was like, oh, well, dollars rolling in, whatever. I was just kind of like, bank account was nice.
Right?
Wrong.
But looking at it, weren't you like, dang?
Nah, I never was.
Really?
Nah. Okay. Because here's the thing about entrepreneurship. It's easy to make it. It's harder to sustain it.
Whoa, it's easy to make it.
No, straight up. It's one of those things where you like,
put that in the comments. Easy to make it,
of course.
Harder to sustain.
It's kind of like, oh, okay, all right, well, shit.
Shout out to Reggie.
All right, well, shit. I never forget. I called my grandma when I cashed my first check. Mm-hmm. It's for like 10 grand, and I was like, shit, Granny, it's up. She was like, well, you sure? Because my grandmother's owned a successful business for 35 years. And so she's had money. She's had money, right? Yeah. And so she was like, well, I'm happy for you, but just understand that it gets harder from here. And so I didn't really understand what the fuck she was talking about because I was like, listen, this shit. You know what I'm saying? It's
right, because you're like, I'm looking at this $10,000 like, what you talking about, Granny?
But listen, you gotta understand, she making, had me.
But it's new to you.
Whatever it is. So it's new to me, right?
Right.
And so I'm 27 at the time. And she said, get ready for the journey. Because that's what it is. It's a journey. Entrepreneurship is a journey.
Yeah.
And I kind of sat back a little bit and I didn't really understand. But I didn't recognize the millions that was coming in.
Wow. Not millions. We went from 10,000 to millions.
Wait, I don't want to get too personal, but I want to really tap into this aspect of the entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there was a lot of people that were around you at the time.
I was just about. I know what you about to ask.
Are not here today.
Yeah.
So how do you just stay motivated and moving forward, especially like with so many? Because a lot of times when you get blessed or when you go through certain things, you think people
that are with you then are gonna go continue to be on your journey.
Well, everybody can go.
Right. You just can't go.
That shit out early.
Right.
You say you can't go. You ain't going.
Listen,
no, just kidding. But really,
I mean, if you know me as a person, then you know that I don't associate with a lot of people. Like I let very limited amount of people close to me.
I feel privileged.
Hey, excuse me.
I
Guys
feel
in the back.
To the guys out there in the audience, no,
guys in the back. No, but listen, honestly, like you can't even be in my position and not understand that everybody can go.
Right.
Because money does something different to people. And it could be a good different or a bad different. There's never anything that's neutral. Like it's either good or it's bad. I hate to say it like that because that's the truth. But yeah, and one thing about me that I decided to do very early on is I never wanted anybody around me who was like yes man or
come on now
acted a certain way, because that's not
yes
real.
master.
Like,
no,
that's real. Like I would rather have genuine people in my circle. And so if I figured out that you was just
there for the road. They're there for the ride.
I was there for the turn up for sure.
They were there for the turn up, but they were there for the ride.
It was a lot of
for the turn up.
Right, but what about the ride? Because the ride is not always easy. You're gonna hit some bumps, some curves.
I get that, but I just fire you then.
Why? Oh, let's talk about firing.
Because we can talk about it now. We can talk about it tomorrow.
Let's talk about firing to all you entrepreneurs that were DMing me and was like, how does he fire his people? Well, here we go. Shit. No, really. I did have someone reach out to me and say they wanted me to ask you about the firing.
Well,
say that again.
Well, that's a long story. That's a crazy story.
Like, do you need any? Okay, let me ask you this.
Well, here's the thing.
Do you do everything in house? I'm gonna keep it 100. Are you the HR? You're not the HR. Okay. Okay.
Chris is HR for sure.
Okay. So what is? Let me ask you this though. When building your team, because now you have a successful laboratory, so you have
definitely got one.
You have a successful laboratory. Shout out to the laboratory.
Shout out to the lab.
And all the employees at the lab.
Well, shout out to everybody in Concierge Health too.
Shout out to Concierge. Talk about a blessing. Thank you. You know what I'm saying?
World.
Hello, world. So as far as the lab, and as far as now you got the lab going, I mean, you're doing well for yourself. You talked about that a little bit. After the lab, I have to ask you this question. That's not it. Because one thing that I have to say, and I've said this before, besides the laboratory that impressed me about you as a human being, as a Black man, is you don't stop at one business.
No, you can't.
You keep it moving. While the reason I say that is because I meet a lot of people they have one thing going. And that's fine. That's good because I know it's not easy. And shout outs to all the entrepreneurs. But as for you being around you, getting to know you, you have the lab. You're like, now I'm going to do this. Now I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
What makes you keep going and not just be satisfied with that one business?
I mean, mainly is when you become an entrepreneur, you just got to realize that you have to diversify yourself.
Okay.
Like, business is up and down. Like, I mean, any entrepreneur who's out here just saying they're taking nothing but wins is lying.
Right.
Like you have to understand that the marketplace, just the way it is you have to diversify yourself.
It ain't no losses, it's lessons. That's what
all right, shout out. Okay.
All
right.
What I will tell you is motherfuckers is taking losses.
Right.
In these business things. But you always learn though, right? Like I understand what you're saying, but like
we're in a pandemic right now.
Absolutely.
So I know a lot of businesses are taking a loss.
But I mean, before the pandemic, people didn't even recognize that life is life, right? Like I'm just being straight up. Like,
let's keep it real.
Like just being straight up. Like you truly understand what's important to you these days, right?
Wake up call.
Like Because
hello world.
Because like, I mean, hell, we all set back before February or March, 2020, and everybody was just like
chilling. I can't wait for 2020 to come.
Right.
That was New Year's, right? That was New Year's Eve.
But no, it's honestly
2020 vision. That's all I used to see.
Just know that whatever you go through in life, it's a reason for it.
Right.
I went from a period of, making millions of dollars a year to a period to where I didn't make nothing. Like I didn't cash a check, like a real check, from 2016 until 2020.
What kept you motivated? I have to ask. What kept you going? What made you just keep moving?
There was times where I was not motivated.
Okay. All right.
I wasn't motivated.
That's real.
That's the downtime.
I sat back.
Season.
I was asset heavy, so I could shoot an asset here or there, and still be.
Shout out to assets.
But it was one of those. I wasn't motivated.
Yeah, because a lot of people.
I used to wake up. I used to wake up, walk out to my pool with a bottle of champagne, sip in the morning, and chill. This is like 2-3 years.
And wow. And then after that, he'd be like, the fuck?
Look at it.
And then I'll be in a position to where
we don't use those words.
Like my mindset was just like, well, shit, it's another day.
Right.
I holler my boy Chris, what we got going today.
Shout out to Chris.
What we sell today.
Right.
Chris would be like, shit, we move X, Y, Z. But I wasn't motivated.
Oh, wow.
For about 2 or 3 years.
Even with the millions?
Nah, I wasn't.
Right. And
but you go through that, though.
Right, but it's the people that think it does.
Yeah, they don't know, first and foremost, they don't understand how hard it takes to make it.
Right.
Like he said.
To sustain it, yeah.
And so I'm just kind of sitting there, and I'm just like, well, shit, you got to do something you passionate in.
Okay.
Just like you said, like healthcare is my passion, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like that's just what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Like healthcare, the customer service industry, that's my passion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I love to do that. And so I started a lot of companies based on everybody else's passion.
Oh, wow.
So I try to help people, and which there's nothing wrong with doing that,
right?
Because you get some value out of that. But in my case, I got far less value than what I was anticipating.
Mm.
And so
you were giving more than you were receiving.
100%. Because I've always been the type of person that believe in people more than they believe in themselves. So but what you realize.
Was more so paying up employees and not yourself.
100%.
But then you learned about.
But you know what?
But then that's when he realized.
But you know what? What I realized is that.
But that's when he realized.
In spite of others, God has continuously blessed me, and that's
so much
key.
is given, much is required.
Key. And so I just want people to understand and know that don't worry about anybody but yourself. Like seriously, like focus on yourself because you have to realize, like, if you are who you are, everything else around you is gonna come full circle. Like you're gonna be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. You did the first time we met.
I mean, but that's real though.
Yeah,
that's
for real.
Like,
right. Self-care is the best care.
Like if you were to meet me,
self-care is the best care.
Or whatever it is, you'd be like, damn, you on a lot of stuff, and
right. What I said.
Got this, you got that, or whatever, and I just be like, I don't see none of this shit. Like I don't see it. Like I just don't see it. Like everything you're talking about, I don't see it. Like they were like, oh, you got this, you got that, you got,
right.
Like,
but that brings us to the next thing because you are a lover of people.
100%.
You are.
So,
you do.
Like what I want to know,
because we tap into other people's lives.
Right.
So we want to tap in. Besides, now we know the entrepreneur.
Yep.
Now we know the journey.
How are you tapping in to other people's lives? Because we know you got a lot of things
going on. Right.
And how did you even just get started with the just idea of that? Because a lot of people haven't done like what you've done too.
Sure.
And
right.
especially around here, like to actually change lives.
Right.
I'm gonna go back to it, man. It's honestly just about being genuine. Like it's a passion of mine. Like I grew up pretty much in a, single mother home, no father around, like
you could have been a statistic, right? Could have been a statistic.
Exactly. It's very cliche, right? But my goal has always been to just help out and assist any way that I can.
Right.
Like my mindset is like I'm big on helping kids and different stuff like that, right? Like single mothers and kids.
And you got something coming up with that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you've done things in the past.
It's just a passion. We've done it big.
Right. So we're gonna do it big.
I mean, listen, I'm proud, honestly, and this is straight up. I'm proud to sit here today to say that I've donated well over $1 million to.
Shout out! Shout out!
That's something that I want
that people wish they could
100%.
do. Right.
But you know what? Like I don't need any accolades for that. Like it's something I needed to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's important because. A lot of people who make it successfully, sometimes they forget.
Right.
Me, I never wanted to forget.
Right.
Like every lesson that I've learned in life, I've always found a cause for it because I don't ever want to sit back and say, I could not have done more. Like, and that's what I'm all about, right?
Right.
And so, we have our
event coming up.
7th annual.
All right. We have the event coming up.
So we got the 7th annual holiday give back coming up.
Yay!
Please make sure y'all go to holidaygiveback2020.com. Get there, sign up, donate, volunteer. But every year we do it big. Gifts, toys, we paying bills, we giving away.
And I'll also be posting it on my show. I'm gonna tag you in it. I'm not on just the show, on my page. Please. I'm gonna post it once this is over. I'm gonna start posting it up until the date, which is December 19th.
Please do.
With the address.
Thank you.
We are in a pandemic. Please feel free to DM me anyone you know that may be in need. He wants to be a blessing. Allow the man to be a blessing. Come out, like he said, donate. Support as well. And I'll be out there myself. It'll be other people out there. You can meet the chairman.
10847 Sandon Drive, Dallas, Texas 75238. That's 10847 Sandon Drive.
Mark your calendar. It's December 19th from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. There is no charge. It is free. We are giving away toys to the children and much more. Come out, support our Blue Coop. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Now, let's get into what we like to do best. All right.
Tap in.
We tapping in. Tapping into a little personal life. It's up. She said
it's
tap
down.
in.
It's down.
It's down.
Okay.
I'm weak.
So we know that being an entrepreneur has changed your life. It has.
For sure.
It has changed your life in a good way, bad way. I have to ask you this, though. A lot of people want to know the hiring. I have to ask this. How did you build your team? Because you was like, because I'll fire. But the ones that are still with you, what made you currently? Let's keep it real though. Okay.
Ooh, hello world.
Well, let me use that word. Let's not get too the ones that are current, right? The ones who are current.
Shit changes.
Pray about it every morning.
Changes every day. No,
right. No. Okay. Okay. What's special about the team that you have?
Yeah.
Because it's no iron team.
Also, how
they
does
help
an entrepreneur that has a business like
that's 2 questions.
I'm sorry, but like
you gotta know.
No, seriously, like how does an entrepreneur keep the right ones around?
Right, because the reason I'm asking is there's no iron team.
I won't sit here today and act like I ain't made no bad hiring decisions.
Right.
I ain't never made a bad firing decision, though. I can tell you that.
You talking about I fired you? It was the right decision.
Shit.
No name calling. No name calling.
I've done my job.
We got no name calling.
Well, but you know, we got. Listen, if you ever worked for me, you know we got this little thing we call gone.
You don't want to hear it.
Gone but not forgotten.
Right, gone but not forgotten. They're gone, but they're not forgotten.
And you know, I always do something special for them. I always take a shot and toast to them because they taught me something, and that's just real. Yeah. If I've ever fired anybody, they taught me a lesson about why I should have fired their ass a long time. But I say all that to say is that I'm a little bit different. Like, I don't look at people's like degrees. I don't look at their history or anything like that. I look at how they present themselves as a person. And so, you know, obviously I want you to have some knowledge and experience, but I also feel like as a leader, I can put you in a position to be successful. And so I'm not always like judging you off of anything. Like, you know, my boy D-Lo.
Shout out to D-Lo.
But you know what? You said leader and not boss.
100%.
You did.
No, I don't want to be anybody's boss. But what I will tell you is,
Leader and boss are two different things.
but I always want people to feel inspired. Like, I don't want you to come work with me and not feel inspired or not want to. Because, I mean, anybody could go work a job, right? Like, you can take a job just to get that money and whatever it is, you know. But I want you to come work with me so we can build and grow something. And if you believe in the dream and the inspiration of what we got going on, that's what I'm all about. And so that's what I'm all about. Like, I don't care about anything else other than you coming in and being passionate about what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. But if I discover,
if I discover, oh wow, yeah, there's a. If I discover, if I figure out another synonym, find out.
It's in a blue coop for me.
It's in a blue coop. And a blue coop in the IG world and YouTube. Well, we won't bring that up now. We on the show. Let's not get deep into that. Right. So speaking of that, though, do you allow your employees to date? Do you allow that within your establishment? Yeah.
I mean, listen,
hey, we keeping it real.
Well, listen.
To date one another? I ain't trying. I'm just asking.
Well, listen. Here's
the show. We keeping it 100.
That's a lot.
Here's the thing.
You waiting for the answer though?
I don't really want to get into
within the establishment
that's kind of personal on that level.
Okay.
Because I mean, people gonna do what they want to do.
Right.
I'm not here to police any of that.
Okay, we'll just.
What I will say is,
you don't want your boss knowing that anyway.
If it affects,
if
it affects what we have going on professionally.
Remember, this is a professional establishment.
Gone but not forgotten.
Exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
That's a reason.
Because I'm about the money first and foremost, right? Like, we work first.
That's a question.
But that's something that you wouldn't even want to bring. I would just think it coming from like corporate, like it's like I'm not.
There's stipulations.
I wasn't gonna tell my news director that I'm freaking on the producer. Like, you know
but what if he find out? Like you said, but what if he finds out?
Sloppy if he find out.
I mean, because so you sloppy now.
Well,
so you're sloppy. You sloppy.
Look,
when they fire you, you're gonna say, "Why you fire me?" Because you sloppy.
Literally,
when it comes down to something like that,
right?
I don't really like to get a lot into it,
right?
But you know, as long as you know the business is cool,
yeah, you're making money.
And I got to get into something real quick if you don't mind.
Oh, okay.
Before this podcast ends, I might get a little emotional.
That's all right.
Because it's important to
me.
We
do everything on this.
And so listen,
we tap into everything.
And you know, a lot of my team is in this room right now, but
shout out to the team.
Shout out to my team.
Ratchet back, Chris. Low.
Back, Chris.
Go ahead.
Low.
All the divas.
But possibility.
Oh,
no, I'm joking.
There he goes. Gone but not forgotten.
So listen.
Look at D-Lo. You got him over there nervous.
Listen.
A little bit.
Trying to. You know we play a lot.
A little bit over a month ago. I was robbed at gunpoint.
Oh no!
I was robbed at gunpoint. I thought I was gonna die.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And within a matter of minutes, I also caught a second-degree felony aggravated assault charge.
Oh no!
Right.
Right.
And so.
Oh no!
And so I was facing a minimum of 2 years in prison.
Wow.
And obviously my team know I wasn't at the office because my mind just wasn't there.
Right.
Right.
And
Mental health come first.
Yeah, it does. Self-care is the
so,
best care.
I mean, obviously, you know, you have a family and stuff, like that's, you know, the first thing you think about, that's what you go to, right? And so it was a very awkward and weird time for me. Like it was a very difficult situation because, you know, being away from my kids would have been like the worst thing ever, especially
Right.
coming from almost losing your life to that situation. And I'm thankful.
I'm a little emotional.
Obviously, you know, staying prayed up and, you know, knowing that anything could happen. Like when somebody else is in control of your future, you just never know, right? You don't know how this is gonna go.
Absolutely.
But God is able.
Yes, he is.
God is able. And I'm very thankful because throughout my life I could have been in some very awkward positions and situations. And even through this time, like even if I had to go to prison, I was willing to accept what I needed to do to go do that. And my attorney called me today and he told me that all my charges have been dropped.
Praise report! Come on now! Come on now! You know I want to hug you. Won't he do it?
You know what's crazy though?
Won't he do it? I want to give you a hug. I really want. Can I give you a hug? Can I give you a hug, boss man?
What's wild though, bro?
No, you don't want. Can I give you a hug?
But JD, you don't even realize that you be having a lot of people, boy, that be praying for you.
No, I know.
Right.
I know that.
Shout out to the praise report. Would you tell him? Would you tell him?
We be praying for you to be covered, bro.
Right. Like shout out.
I'm not
I
gonna lie
want
to
to do
y'all.
it.
Listen. And
he talking about
unless it's your life, you probably won't look at it like this, but it was a miracle. Like it wasn't like, I hate to say it like that because I kept a positive mindset.
Right.
You know, I was willing to accept whatever punishment, you know, that whatever was deemed necessary. But
right.
At the end of the day, like I didn't do anything wrong. I almost lost my life, but I was still faced with a situation in which I probably could have had to go to prison or whatever.
Right.
But I felt like if God put me in that position, I was supposed to be there.
Right.
And I was going to go in there and I was going to do my thing for him. And so I'm just thankful.
Amen.
You know? And
shout out to God.
Nothing ever like this happens like out of nowhere. Like, this shit happened for a reason.
Yeah.
And so I'm thankful for everybody in this room.
Thank you.
I'm thankful for all the people who supported me and all of those good things. And so like it's like I told Pat and Chris, like it's gonna take a lot to kill my joy.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Wow.
I'm gonna reward you for that.
Sure is. Thank you for sharing.
Like above anything else.
Man, thank you for sharing.
Of course.
Thank you so much. I'm a little emotional here.
You don't really even understand until you face with that situation.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Real
I
talk.
feel like, but
you didn't have to share that.
Kametra, I want you to know something. I feel like God put everything in place for my exoneration to happen on this night.
Oh.
And I want you to know that I love you and I support you.
Thank you so much.
And keep doing your thing.
We support you.
Thank you so much. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much.
Oh, Jesus.
Keep doing your thing.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. I'm a little emotional.
I ain't put a suit on. Listen,
I didn't even expect this.
Listen,
thank you
I have
so
not
much.
put a suit on in well over a year.
Thank you so
much. But I felt something special about today.
Oh. Thank you so much. I know. I love all y'all so much. If y'all could see this other side.
Wait, the whole notice today?
Yeah.
Today, on the day he
literally,
look how that worked out.
Literally 2 hours
on the day he
ago.
was appearing.
2
Wow.
hours ago.
Oh wow.
Wow, that is such a blessing.
It's crazy. I have to share with y'all because yesterday my podcast was about mental health, and a friend of mine needed to go somewhere. I needed to be somewhere, and I told him just come sit in my podcast room and just chill with me. And then lo and behold, it was because he was going through some mental, well, not say mental, but like just a lot of situations going on in his head. And it was about mental issues and everything that the girls had going on, that they were talking about. He was going through the same thing.
Yeah.
And so they ended up like really talking.
That's what's up.
Right.
Like,
yeah. Oh, right.
Really
man, that's God, man. Well, that's the universe.
Before I didn't know who I was gonna. I didn't know. I had no idea of who I would have on the second show. I was like, well, I'm just gonna do it myself. That's what I was thinking. And I had been praying, and he kept coming up. I kept saying, ask John. I was like, but he be so busy. I didn't want, what I didn't want to do? I didn't want to I don't want to bother people that's busy and be like, hey, come on the show, and they got this going on. Because I was like, and I hadn't seen him or talked to him, since now we know why.
It's all love.
Right. And then when I asked him, he was out. I was like, come on the show.
That's just the way that the world works.
Right, right.
We are all
real
intertwined in a way. And I'm extremely thankful, to just be a part of a positive inspiration for people's lives. Like I don't take it for granted, right? And so, my mindset is, do as much as you can, bless as many people as you can, and God is going to reward you. And my attorney said something very key to me today. He said, John, you were not supposed to be in this situation at all. And he worked his ass off for me. Like my case,
shout out to the attorney.
The detective never even here goes.
Come on with it. Oh,
let me tell you real quick. Y'all don't even understand this because this shit is real. Because the detective never even once talked to my attorney. She never responded. Let me tell y'all something about God. Because it's real. Because I told Pat, favor ain't fair.
But it's mine.
Like real shit.
Favor ain't
like
fair,
real
but
shit.
it's
Because listen.
Hallelujah.
Listen. The detective never even contacted my attorney. And
Come on now, favor.
Obviously, I went for the big guns. Like I don't give a shit how much money I have to spend to stay free.
Okay.
Even though I didn't do anything wrong, it was just one of those things where I was like, shit, fuck it, whatever it takes, right? Mm-hmm. And my attorney, and I got to shout my boy out, Scott Palmer.
Shout out.
Boy, let me tell you something.
Wait, he's a prominent attorney.
Let me tell you something. My boy
Dallas,
Scott
here in
Palmer,
Dallas, right?
Bro, it ain't no formative about this man. He the best.
Yeah. Okay.
Like my shit didn't, like I was facing grand jury, all kinds of shit. Like, I mean, it's a lot. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's a lot. It's a lot that could be on a person. And so I'm a pledge right here tonight. Like all my brothers that's incarcerated, I'm going to do something for criminal justice reform.
Come on now, Chris, criminal justice reform?
Because I understand that there are men out here that are facing some bullshit. They had nothing, like they shouldn't even be in this situation. But I'm thankful that God put me in a position this year while I was able to afford a high price attorney because I wasn't that person last year.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so Scott Palmer, my boy, I love you, Scott.
Hey, man.
My boy, Scott.
Wow.
And I've never met Scott. Never met this man. Mm. But you know what he did? He called me the first day I talked to this guy. He said to me, he said, John, you know what? I'm not going to lie to you. You facing some serious shit. Mm. But at the end of the day, you're not supposed to be in this position. And I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that nothing happens to you. And that's all it takes, right? Like you just need that comfort. And I'm a lead a podcast alone, but I just want y'all to know.
No,
God is good
all the time.
And all the time.
God is good.
I'm off of papers.
Off of papers.
And ain't no crying.
Ain't no crying at the paint. Ain't no crying at tapping into. Thank you so much. I'm emotional. Shout out. Thank you for sharing your testimony.
No, that's been a burden on my heart. But you know what?
It's lifted now. It's gone.
It's gone.
That's a burden lifted. I do, before we wrap up, before I get out of here with Tapping In Tuesday, I want to ask you a question. like I want to ask, like when I have my guests on the show, what does the future hold for JD? What do you see yourself in 2021? Because God is giving you a testimony. What's your plans? You got about 40, what? How many days
one thing I've learned, and this is just real.
Okay, about 44 days.
I always live my life in the moment. Like I don't do a lot of planning. I don't do a lot of future stuff. I feel like, because I have a lot on me, so it's more so for me, like I got to figure out what do I need to handle that day, that moment, that second. But I feel like I got a new lease on life. And it may sound crazy, right? Like I truly do. Like, I mean, you could look at me, somebody in my position, or you like, oh, he got this, that, whatever. Honestly, like, I mean, it's a wake-up call. I mean, it's just like, you know,
he'll get our attention for sure.
You know, you can only run from your calling for so long. And now it's time for me to face the music and do what the Lord want me to do, and that's what I'm gonna do.
Amen. Yeah. What is your calling? What is your calling? Do you want to share it?
Oh Lord!
Don't come out. What you about to do? Come out. Look, that was the question. What you about to do? Come on.
I'll see y'all on Sundays.
Won't he do it? I'll see y'all on Sundays. Won't he do it? Shout out to everybody. Thank you so much.
I will see y'all on Sundays.
Okay.
And if you're at Bible study on Wednesday, we gonna have the Benevolence Ministry reach out to you for your donation.
Gonna be calling you for them tithes and offering. Okay.
No, that's
good.
No, that's real talk. I mean,
real talk. Amen. I love that. I mean, it's crazy. Like
the Lord is often decided to chastise me.
He does to those he loves.
And before the end of 2021, I will be tapping in.
Tapping in. Amen.
That's all you can do.
Thank you so much for watching Tapping In Tuesdays. I'm a little emotional.
I'm about to cry too. I'm with you.
I have to say this. It's not being too churchy, not being spiritual, but you know, all the glory goes to God. What a testimony. And to someone who gives God the glory and not luck, I love it because he knows where his help come from. 100%. Shout out to Bobby. Thank you so much for joining us, Bobby. Bobby in the building. Shout out to Pat. Shout out to Chris.
Shout out to Queen of Tap In Tuesdays. It's up.
Thank you so much. Shout out to all the entrepreneurs. We'll see you in 2 weeks. God bless you. God keep you. Good night.
Good night. Kametra.
Oh my God.
Yeah, man.
You didn't even tell.
Nah, I didn't want to tell y'all.
I had no idea.